Back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is? It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. And another Saturday. Well, last week didn't have a guest, but this week we do. But I guess I should probably start like I always start and say, hey, you're listening to Renovation Nation live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing, host of this crazy show. And as I just teased, last week was just me. It was sort of weird in here, like I mentioned, I'm filming and recording filming the recording, but then doing this show and, there's a lot of moving parts. And it's been fun with people in here, because I get to just relax and sort of not pay attention and be quiet for a minute. But last week I was back in the grind and doing the filming of it and then firing away live. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I need to just give some shout outs real quick, and then I'm gonna get to who we have this week. But I need to give a shout out to Tim Pearsall. What's up, Tim? Hope he's doing well. And not doing well with the notes we sent him. He had a question on some stuff to do, and he's a pretty handy gentleman. So send him over a few cheat notes and just, what's up, Tim? And I guess I need to go ahead and throw out there that, a lot of wins lately. There's a lot of door-to-door solicitors that's, going everywhere. Just always remember, know what you're signing if you sign anything, and get a second opinion. Now, that's what I'll tell you. But if you think you have damage, do you know you have damage? I don't. We haven't been there yet. But if you want us to come out for your complimentary roof inspection, call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com for all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, and here recently some skylights. Needs, repairs and replacements. And I'll say lastly, as I take a breath, we're still doing for all first responders, military, active retired Gold Star families, anyone over 62, 15% off. It's an additional 5% off. We always do a 10% for everybody to help out, because the bank accounts hadn't filled up yet. It's good times, but we gotta get them back filled up. That we're going to throw an extra 5% for the first responders in the military, Gold Star families, and anyone over 62. I think I've covered everything. If not, I'll remember it later. So now, to the person at hand, who's actually via the interwebs, as I always say, Miss Sarin Rowland. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just saw you a few days ago, or a week ago, whatever. And but yeah, I've got Sarin Rowland, my daughter, and she's at live right now at Lindenwood College, and I've talked about you a lot on here. Y'all don't, I know you listen every weekend and have heard me, but but anyway, what have you been doing? How's it going?
It's good. School's good. Just getting back to it. We had spring break last week, so
yeah. What'd you do for spring break?
Practiced every day and had 2 games.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was spring break last week, because you're up there and we're way down here, and nevertheless I just saw you last Saturday, and great game, by the way, both teams. Yeah, you pulled a double header. For those who don't know, they played. There's 2 teams at Lindenwood. Rugby is one team, but they separate. We're going to talk about that. But the one team that I call the A team played with against Brigham Young, and what I call the B team, which is your next in line, and some of the A team played SNU, Southern Nazarene University, if I said that right, correct?
Something like that.
That was the most, I have to say, Sarah, and I've seen a lot of games with you. And number one, I was impressed by your play. But number two, that was 2 of the most physical games I've seen in a while. What say you?
Yeah, we haven't, for B-side, we haven't had a game since September. So that's the first time we've been playing together since a few months ago.
Since you got that big hit? Wasn't that game at that park?
Yes,
yeah.
It was.
Yeah. After that, you started traveling with the A team, I noticed. All of a sudden you're going on flights. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then BYU boys typically is one of those harder, like they're just bigger and more physical. But I believe our rugby outskills them. So
Oh no, it proved out. I think the first game, the A team with BYU, it was what 60-15, if I remember right.
something like
Yeah,
that.
and then the B game, as you call it, which is still anyone on B team is can be on A at any moment, and that's interesting to me because you always said you never know who's on the roster until Thursday. Is that right?
Yep, that's true. Basically, for if we have a game one week, we on Monday send out a player like selection pool. So it's like roughly 30-ish people, 28 to 30 people
Yep.
that potentially could play that week. So you're basically fighting for a spot all week long at practice.
Yeah, and you've earned a spot each time. Now last year when your first year, I didn't expect to see you traveling with with the A team. That's pretty good stuff. But this year you started last fall traveling with them, and then again this year. But first of all, how's Stella? How's she doing?
She's doing better. She's getting surgery next Monday.
She's going to have surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, she for those who don't know at the game, I'm telling you, it's the most intense games I've seen in a while. That they was a head to head, and she broke her nose, I think, wasn't it? And yeah. So well, shout out to Stella, get better because it was a hit. We all heard it in the stands. It was pretty brutal. But give me a day. We've still got a lot of time in this segment. What's an average day for you, like with practice? Like during the week, maybe a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Give me what a day is playing Division I rugby, women's rugby.
So Monday for me, I have class from 9 to 12. So I have 3 different classes. Then we have lift at 3, and then we have like a forwards meeting. So there's forwards and backs. So forwards have their meeting on Monday from 5 to 5:45, and then we have practice from 5:45 to 7:45. However, it's changing because of daylight savings time, so I don't know when our meeting will be, but we're going to be practicing from 4 to 6 now.
So okay, so take me through a lift. What are y'all doing? What are you doing during that time? I mean, what kind of exercises?
We're in the weight room. We do front squat, bench, chin ups, split squat.
What are you benching? What are you benching? I didn't ask you that.
I'm not telling you.
Oh, you're not going to tell me?
I'm not
squatting? Where are you squatting?
The last time I PR'd my squat, I got 195.
Good for you. That's good. That's really good. No, that's really good. Sitting here with Sarin Rowland, my daughter, and mine and her mom's daughter. Let me rewind. But sitting here with Sarin, it's been on the show a couple times. You were here in the very beginning when we were doing it live downtown, being down there, and so we've talked stuff and we've talked rugby. But so tell everyone what your position is. What's your main position?
So my main position is number 4 or 5, but it's a lock and it's a forward.
And what does the lock do? I mean, what does the lock do other than inside on the second line, in the scrum? What does the lock do other than that?
We do line out, so we'll lift people in the air. I also jump, so I get lifted in the air. It's kind of like chicken fight.
Yeah.
For the ball.
Yeah, it's almost jump ball in basketball, but they're throwing it in like a football.
Yeah.
No, it was impressive. That I don't think you missed one the other day.
No, the only one we missed was when I lifted someone, but our the person who throws it heard a different call, so they threw it over. But we still caught it on our team and still had the ball, so it worked out.
So let's get to what's a practice day like? What are you doing at practices? I mean, I know it might be different days, but give me a day where they're working with the. Are you considered the back or forward?
I'm a forward.
That's what okay. So give me a forwards day at practice. What are you doing?
So we all warm up, and then we all do hands, which is just passing the ball down a line. Then we'll usually do some sprints to finish our warm up. Then we'll have a tech zone, so we'll do like kick chase, just working in our pod. So like for the forwards, we'll do like a drill where I'm in a 2-pod, so it's me and another forward, and we have one of our backs like working with us so we can run plays off of it, just
right
to get more things. Then we will maybe do a fitness block every now and then. Those are horrible. And then we'll have ball play, which is just like literally playing rugby, except we're not tackling. It's just shoulders on. So we still have to hit each other. We're just not hitting each other to the ground.
Not going full speed.
Well, full speed.
Yeah, full speed, but you're not.
You just put a shoulder into them to stop them.
Okay.
And then usually at the end of practice, we'll do our splits. So like forwards will go with forwards and backs will go with backs. And then we'll work on either scrums or lineouts. And then the backs are doing whatever.
And how long's practice?
2 hours, but we usually go over.
Yeah. And what always is at the end of practice?
It's usually splits or ball and play.
Yeah. Say it again because it was cutting there for a little bit.
Usually we have splits or ball and play at the end.
And what is that? What's the splits?
That's when we just split with forwards and backs. So we work on like scrums and lineouts while the backs do like passing and their plays.
Do you not do any like Broncos or run back up and down, any conditioning?
That's during our fitness blocks, but those are usually at the beginning of practice. But sometimes if our coaches are mad, we will have to run it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we come back because music's playing. I know I was telling you you can't hear the music, but sitting here with Sarin Rowland, live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Number 4, number 5, sometimes wears a number 7. We're going to talk about that when she gets back, when we get back. Well, it's Rugby Day in Nashville, but it was brutal. You're listening to Renovation Nation. Come on back. We're going to get some more rugby. See you in 30. Hey, this is Chad Rowland with RTM Roofing. Just want to remind you about our 15% discount all year long. All year long, 2025, for all first responders, people in the military, active, retired, or Gold Star families. Anyone over 62. If that's you, you get 15% off all retail jobs. Insurance jobs are excluded. That does not apply to those. But if you're paying out of pocket this year and need a roof, a replacement, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com. We're back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is? It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. I'm Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing, host of this crazy show. And this week we're talking to Miss Sarin Rowland. Who's Sarin Rowland for all the new listeners? Got a lot of new listeners, Sarin. Well, she's my daughter, and she's up at going to school her sophomore year at Lindenwood University, the Lindenwood Lions. Got my shirt on, you see?
I did.
Yeah, I got and Pink's over here. He's double twisted on the floor, but he's listening to you. He's going to listen to you. But anyway, sitting here with Sarin Rowland, we're talking rugby. We're talking Division I. You're NCAA this year, correct?
It's a transition year, but yes.
Yes, because you were D3 Elite Division I.
D1.
D1. Oh. Okay, so I didn't. Okay, see, there we go. That was my bad. D1. Y'all don't hit me. Jeez, I've never seen so many shoulders pop out of place and hear heads busted, and then finally, and poor Stella, bro. I knew she'd hit, but I didn't know she did that. And that other girl was down. It was mayhem.
Yeah, I only thought she got a concussion. I didn't realize her nose was broken.
I didn't either because, she was down for a minute, and they come over, and she eventually walks off, and they're holding the nose, and then Frida. Or is it Frida or Frida?
Frida.
Frida's out there with the ref, and I guess when there's blood on the field, they sprinkle some powder or something on the blood, I guess, but
they just wash it off, basically.
Yeah, whatever she was, Frida was taking care of that, but sending Stella some prayers, that's rough. She's all you young women are just amazing athletes. Really, I know you're my daughter, but I've heard of rugby, seen rugby, saw it with you in high school. But on the level that you're playing now and that team is playing, I mean, the first time you played Brigham Young, I saw last year, I think, and I watched it online. You won 95-10 or something like that. And so they improved some because you guys are still. I mean, I told Dad they're going to hit 60. I said, hey, they're going to hit 60. He said, oh yeah, I'm like, they'll hit 60, and they did. You did, and so I'm not going to eat up all the time because I really want to hear you talk for a minute, but I want to run through. What's it like game day? You can be quick on some stuff, but give me like right before game time. I mean, you're 5 minutes or less and it's live. What's going on in Sarin Rowland and the team's head?
Some of the girls are definitely more collected than I am. I'm usually freaking out because I don't know why, but before every game, I'm always a nervous wreck. Even if we're playing a team, I know that we're going to beat like 100-0. I'm always stressing myself out for no reason. It's usually once the game starts and I get my first hit in where I'm like, okay, I'm in now. I just got to let the adrenaline kick in. But some of the other girls, like, they listen to their music. We all do like a team prayer together, but some of the like other girls who are more like religious will do their own. Usually it's just everyone trying to just switch into like a game day mentality.
I noticed that, and I see when y'all are warming up. I can see when you're, because sometimes you get so stressed, you got to sort of laugh, and there's something's got to just break something, and then get back in zone. But I see that going on. But then I see right before the clock that when I played football, and your granddad too, always full game. I'm ready to throw up, and I don't care if it is the whatever team you think you're going to kill or whatever. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You don't know. But then after you get that first zing. Now it's getting the game and it's muscle memory. And so what do you girls, when you get scored upon, right? And all the team goes down near the goal post and it's hanging out down there. What are y'all talking about? Give me that environment.
We usually just try to be calm and collected because one thing that will mess up a game is criticizing each other. So we just kind of address like some of the issues that we're noticing. So like, whether we're missing tackles, like whatever it is, like we'll just mention it, be like, look out for this. It's good. Like it's more of like just a refresh. Like the game's now at 0-0. So it's more of like, we try not to focus on the score. We just try to focus on like what we need to do.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. Is it like, hey, they keep doing this right here, or that girl's doing this right here. Hey, watch, you always throw it here or try to juke. Catch that next time, pay attention to that. Is it more like that too?
Yeah, it's just like calling out the things that are happening that's like messing us up.
Yeah.
And what we need to fix.
Sharp. No, it was impressive. Like I was telling you about Newt Rowland, your grandfather, Gramps. I call him Pops, but he made the ride with me. I got to tell a quick little thing. It's funny. We got up there about 7:00, that evening, and met you at Tubby's. Tubby's is great. Has the best steak in town. You go to St. Charles, go to the bowling alley, and walk into Tubby's and get a steak. That's all Sarin and I ever eat there. And it's batting 1,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you had bad steak there yet?
Nope.
Now I got to give a shout out to Justin Sheffield because he was the one I said, hey, where can we get a good steak around here? He goes, you're not going to believe me, but go to the bowling alley. And it's great. But we're sitting there, and all the storms are coming in last Saturday, right? And everybody's phone goes off, remember? And I look at TV and I'm like, Sarin, where are we at? I see generally, but where are we at? And you're like, oh, well, we're right there. It's there. It's right down the road, basically. And tornado warnings. And the guy at the bar yelled, oh, it's just wind or whatever. And everybody just went back to eating.
Yeah.
Is that normal around there?
Pretty much, because it's tornado season right now and it's more common here than it is in Tennessee.
That's because I was looking like, all right, where are we going? And then everybody after he said at the bar, like, I'll have another drink or whatever. It's just wind or whatever he said. I just remember looking around, going, where can we go? If it does hit, and then looked around everybody else, and they're back eating, and I looked at you and Dad and said, well, if we're going to go, we all go together. Let's keep eating. That's pretty wild.
I was a little nervous about my car outside. I'm not going to lie.
I wasn't worried about the car. I was just worried about being in that big metal building. I'm like, where are we going? There's nowhere to really duck under. And you don't get small tornadoes out there usually, from what I hear.
They're huge.
Yeah. So, but anyway, sitting here with Sarin Rowland, you're listening to Renovation Nation live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Sarin is a Division I, D1, right? Yeah. Yep. NCAA rugby player for Lindenwood Lions, my daughter. And with the NCAA now comes the NIL, the name and likeness. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is. And so RTM Roofing, and reminds you that it's time for your complimentary inspection. Call 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com. It's still getting built. We're getting close there, and it's great. It's a great, great website. You're going to love it. But for all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, skylights too. Repairs, replacements, 15% off. All first responders, military, active, retired, Gold Star families, and anyone over 62. Everybody else, it's 10% off. So give us a ring, and RTM Roofing is going to be sponsoring Miss Sarin Rowland very soon once we get all the paperwork and figure all that out. But so you're going to be doing some more media appearances, Miss Rowland.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now tell me, what, let's see here. I don't even know how much longer I've been paying attention to the clock. We got a few minutes because may only be here a couple segments. She's got work to do today. But what, you got anybody you want to shout out? A big shout out to Coach Trevor and Coach Colton. They've given you nothing but praises, which you've earned. They're not going to give you anything. I know that. But a big shout out to them. What amazing job they've done with this team and continue to do with this team. National champions or first or second every daggum year. So what's your shout outs?
I especially want to shout out my friend group. We're called the UN, United Nations.
Lean into your laptop a little bit. There you go. Now say it again.
I want to shout out the UN group chat, #United Nations, because we're all from different places. So that's Stella, Sophia, Bran, Murph, Mia, Nevaeh, and Lauren.
And that's right. It's international. There's Australians, English, Americans, Stella from Spain, Polynesia over in the eastern, the Pacific. A lot of those ladies. Hey, that team is amazing. So, well, here comes the music, Roland. Love you. Love you very much and very proud of you. You really, everybody is. Race was talking about you today. Everybody was talking about you. I've been sharing the videos. Well, Sarin Rowland, Lindenwood Lines, number 4, number 5, and sometimes number 7. That was a new one. Well, we're going to have her back on. Thanks again, babe. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. When you come on back, you're listening to Renovation Nation. We're going to get a little bit more of that 15% off and, well, those door-to-door people. Welcome to RTM Roofing Commercial Division. Not only do we do replacements, we also do commercial repairs, budgeting for you. And when times like this happen and you need to stop the water, you can't just change a panel. You roll over it. With RTM and Everest Roofing Systems. Their products are beyond any that I've ever worked with. And at RTM Roofing, we only use the best. And it doesn't cost as much as the rest. Call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751. And you know we're back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is. It's Renovation Nation time. Oh, yes, it is. It's another day. A lot of wins out there, a lot of wins. A lot of wins for Lindenwood Lines as well. Lindenwood Lines as well, if I can say it again. But you are listening to Renovation Nation, coming at you live from Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and also on YouTube, and soon to be probably maybe Spotify or something. I don't know, but we film it as well. Or record it, as Kim would say. You don't film anything because it's digital. But we got it on YouTube, and all you got to search is, you can search RTM Roofing, but you can also search A Standard Conversation, at A Standard Conversation. That's and you'll go straight to our site, and there's going to be a lot. You can catch every show, and there'll eventually soon be a lot of stuff about RTM Roofing, about what we do, how we do it. It's, I've noticed people really don't. And Sarin, and by the way, she stayed for another segment. I thought she had to go, but no, she stayed for another segment. So we're jumping right back into her. But nevertheless, that well, now I'm gonna squirrel with it, and I'm sitting here looking at you on camera or on video. But I guess whatever I was trying to say there was, well, I don't know what I was trying to say. Let's go to Lindenwood Lines. Hey, I can't. I was trying to pull it out of here, but we're recording this live, so I mean we're doing all this live, so I'm not gonna mess it up. So we were coming out of that last segment talking about the emotional side of it, pre-game, during the game. Now let's get a little post-game action here. Now after you played 90, how many minutes you played the first game? Probably 8 to 10, wasn't it?
I'd say like 10 to 15.
Yeah, because you can only play 80 minutes in a day.
90.
No, you can play 90.
Or something like that.
Yeah, because you came out a little bit in that second game for, I don't know.
Like 10 minutes?
That's what I'm saying. You played about 10 minutes in that first game, and what was that like? When you went in on the Brigham Young game, that was brutal. Those girls came to play this time. You guys always ready to play, but they came. They tried. I'll give them credit.
When I came in, I was a little bit more stressed out than I was for the second game. Playing an A-side game is a lot more stressful because you don't want to mess up because if someone scores off against you because of you, it's like you don't
and you go as a sub. There's 3 subs for the line and 3 subs for the forwards and 3 subs for the backs. Is that what it is?
We have 8 subs.
Okay.
So we do a 6-2 split.
Lean into the computer again. It's doing that. Yeah.
So we usually do a 6-2 split. So 6 forwards and 2 backs, or we'll do a 5-3 split and do 5 forwards and 3 backs.
Okay, and you've been doing that all but one game since mid last fall after your last B game.
Games technically because we also bring an injury reserve to our away games, and I was injury reserve for one of the games.
Yeah, in case I'm surprised that if that would have been an away game the other day, a lot of people were getting hurt. Now you guys took some hurts, on the A game, but most of them stayed in the game.
Oh yeah, we dug it out.
Yeah, it seemed like it. It was what do you remember? Let's see here. I got some questions right here. What do you like about rugby? What are you liking about what's the difference going from high school rugby? Right? Now you only played it 2 years. Father Ryan had the inaugural year, your junior year, and you and my unadopted daughter Sophie, they just you two, just went out and played it. What's the difference between high school and that next level?
The pace of the game, just like the technical aspects. Like in high school, it's just more like, here's the ball, have fun. Versus in college, it's like, you need to do it like this, you need to do it like that.
Yeah.
You more structured, and the game's just a lot faster.
I remember when you and I went to Life, and I'll be seeing you here in another week down in, I'm assuming, if you make the roster. If not, I might be down there hanging out with them, saying, hey, Sarin, back here in St. Charles. That sitting here with Sarin Rowland, Lindenwood Lines, number 4, 5, and sometimes 7. Mainly number 5. That's what I've seen you more in, I believe. I think is number 5, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because every number is a specific position. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to tell Dad, it's like football. There's the front line and the scrum where they all get together. The front line's like the center to me and the 2 guards. And then you get to the back line, which is your tackles and ends. Ends would be your flanker. Tackle would be 4 or 5, number 4 or 5. And number 1's a center, and 2 and 3 are guards. I got to relate it to football because it's not a sport I grew up with. And you didn't either. And that's what's amazing. And the way that these coaches can bring someone, and by the way, some of it's your natural talent from inline speed skating for years, all your life, to playing hockey for Father Ryan on the junior varsity team, winning the state championship, and then going to rugby and winning the state championship your first annual year of women's rugby. You win 7s. Was it 7s, right? It was 7s. Yeah, 7s state. You won state on 7s for rugby. Beat Columbia. They had to win all 4 games that day, and it's 20 degrees something. Yeah, and so as brutal as that was, it's even more brutal where you're at now?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And, okay, well, what do you love about rugby? I guess that was where we were going a minute ago. What do you really love about it?
I don't really like. It's just like I really enjoy the team. It all depends on like that and just like the people you're around because that sets like the tone of everything. But like I don't know how to explain it, but when I broke my leg, that's when I like knew I wanted to keep playing. So that's like when I started reaching out to colleges. I just like it was a sport that like I finally felt that like I wasn't forced to do and that like I got a chance to try it and I actually just like enjoyed
Yeah.
the community and like what it was all about.
What would you tell a young girl, a young lady that's in high school now, ninth, eighth, ninth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th grade? What would you say about rugby? If because the initial thing is you just said broke leg, and it was your like a lower ankle or upper on your out deal, but your leg wasn't just flopping around. Is what I'm trying to say. That what would you tell a young lady about rugby if they were ever thinking of getting in it?
I would say it's a great like sport to play because like the community, the girls, like we're all there for each other. We all lift each other up, and it's just like a tough sport. Like, and especially like on the east side of the country, like it's not very popular. Like you have a good chance of like starting and trying things, and it's just like I say, don't diss it until you try it.
Okay, fair enough. Why'd you go out for rugby? You're already playing, hockey and all of that good stuff. Why'd you decide to go for rugby? I didn't even know about it till you told me.
I wasn't going to be honest. One of my friends wanted to go and like practice, and I was like, I'll go and watch. Like, I'll do some homework. But then Coach Jess came up to me, and she was like, "Oh, are you here to like practice?" And I was like, "No." She goes, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I'll try it," because it was better than doing my homework. So I was like, "Why not?" And then I don't know. I just ended up really enjoying like what I was doing.
So what is? I know you got to leave after this segment. We've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 more minutes, whatever. But what do you like about Coach Colton, and what does he do? Now is he? I don't want to mispronounce it or missay something, but is he the assistant coach?
Yes.
Okay, so what does he do?
He is also the forwards coach, so he works with the forwards, obviously. But
Your group, or
he's also our defense coach, so he like will run our defense days and all that stuff. But for forwards, he helps us with lineouts and scrums. He's just a funny person. He likes to joke around. He's like serious, but not always serious. Like he knows when to be.
Go ahead, keep going.
He like knows when to be serious and when not to be.
And what about Trevor, Coach Trevor? I don't know the last name, so I can't remember the last names right off the top of my head.
Trevor is. I love Trevor because.
Shouldn't you say Coach? If he watches this, he's like, "You don't call me Trevor."
I just like the fact that like I have a separation of like he's not my forwards coach, so like I see the nicer side of him.
Fair enough. Oh, speaking of which, wait a minute. Speaking of which, before we left one of the segments earlier, we were talking about there happens to be times where I was asking about if you run after practice, I like doing additional conditioning. We used to always do 40-20s, or I'm sorry, 20-40s, and somebody got smart one day and said do 40-20s, and that's brutal. 40-20s is, 20-40s, that's brutal. And so something happened one day, and all of a sudden you showed me a video, I thought, and y'all are all of a sudden running.
Oh, yeah.
How long did you run?
How long?
Yeah.
Like 12, 15 minutes.
Yeah. And what's that? I mean, what's that consist of?
50s, we'll do 5, like they're called 150s. So you have 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. You got to go 5 back, 10 back, just like a ladder.
Yeah.
We'll run with our arms above our heads. You can't bend your elbow. It has to be above your ear. We'll do bear crawls, mountain climbers. We'll do hundreds, like full field, 20, a lot of sprints. We'll do like.
Nope, I think you locked up on me. We might have lost her right there. That might have been it, but that seemed brutal. Well, if she can still hear me on the other side, I love you, baby girl, and I'll be seeing you next week in Atlanta next weekend. But yeah, so there you go. Sitting there talking with Sarah. Oh, you back? Did you come back on?
I've been here the entire time.
Oh, well, the video didn't show and we couldn't hear you here. So, she's back again. And, well, we got less than a minute right now. So you want to give anybody any shout-outs or the team shout-outs or anybody back this way, family or something or anybody, right here. Thanks for coming on, though. Really do. Appreciate
No,
that.
I just appreciate everyone in my life right now. Everyone's like always supporting me. So
Yeah, well, good. That's it. There's Miss Sarin Rowland. Lindenwood Lions, D1, Division 1. I think that's the same. NCAA. Number 1, number 2. I think they're number 2 in the country right now, but they're not number 10. Yeah, thank you very much for coming on. I'll be seeing you soon. But when we get back, we're going to get into, all kinds of stuff. Or she might be back. I don't know. We'll see you in 3. You're listening to Renovation Nation. Y'all get on back. Come on back here. Welcome to RTM Roofing Commercial Division. Not only do we do replacements, we also do commercial repairs. Budgeting for you. And when times like this happen and you need to stop the water, you can't just change a panel. You roll over it. With RTM and Everest Roofing Systems. Their products are beyond any that I've ever worked with. And at RTM Roofing, we only use the best. And it doesn't cost as much as the rest. Call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751. On Super Talk 997 WTN. You know what time it is? It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's, wow, what a couple segments. What a couple segments those were. And got a bonus segment. Got a bonus. I didn't think she was going to come back on. I thought she had to run, and then during the break, she's like, I can do one more. And I'm like, oh, you can. Well, let's roll. But anyways, give a big shout out to the Lindenwood Lions out of St. Charles, Missouri. Always one of the top number 1, number 2 teams in D1. I said D3 Elite. It's D1 Elite. I thought 3 was bigger, but I guess not. But top tier level of rugby at that university and the education coming from that university. And what she didn't mention, I wanted to ask about her, is, hang on, I'm going to write this down because I need to go ahead and say, hey, you're listening to Innovation Nation live on Super Talk 997 WTN. Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing, host this crazy show. And now back about the Lindenwood Lions and the amazing program they have in St. Charles, Missouri. And I'm not being paid for this. I've seen it firsthand now from my daughter being there. But I remember last year at senior year, there's like a family day where all the seniors, it's like the homecoming and stuff, last home game, whatever. And I was noticing all the degrees of these rugby players, which have a brutal schedule. We do 3 hours here, 3 hours there. It's a brutal, it's a national championship level program and with school. And so she jokes about this and that, but they are nonstop. And a lot of those girls come out with double degrees in law and going to law school and I think one the other day had bioengineering and something else. And I was just looking at Dad going, I feel pretty dumb right now. But I got to give just as much praise as I can because it's an amazing program. And I'm glad my daughter's playing there. There's amazing programs they play against, and I've seen a lot of them. But there's something about Lindenwood, and it's good. And when they play Life, that's the only team they've lost to this year that I know of. And it's always usually Lindenwood and Life in the D1 Elite programs out there. And they're, they don't play. They don't play. I won't get on the field with them. I know that. I'll get in on the field with Craig Pittman, but I will not get on the field with those girls. I'm sorry, those young women. They're not girls. They're women, and rightly so, and earn every inch of what they do, and they're the top in the country, and it shows. So I'll get off into some other stuff now. I was hoping to keep it for the whole show, so I guess I've just got to start telling you all about roofing and this and that. But what I am going to tell you about is the winds that have been coming through. We've had a lot of winds this week. We had the storms last weekend. I was out of town, but I was getting updates, and it hit me before it hit y'all. And there's a lot of companies now that seem to be in Nashville, and then good. Hey, it's free country, but a lot don't wait on you to call them. And there's some things you need to be aware of. If you're not calling somebody and showing up at your house. And what do I mean by that is, business cards, relocated, You have a contract. Is your head of your company or corporation local? That's a big one. RTM Roofing, we're local. Of course, everybody lives here, but the company's here. The headquarters doesn't go out of state. And you can choose whoever you want. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying I've been to 2 more this week that got told they had damage of people I know that let them get on the roof. Come on, people. But I'm not saying you don't, but the people that know me, I'm like, come on. And I'm just giving them a hard time. But nevertheless, no damage. No damage. They want to file a claim and this and that. It's like, and I did a lot of social media this past week of video and audio, and that's what's going to be on our new website. That's about to launch any daggum time. And I don't say it in a bad way. It's coming together really, really, really good. And then I'm going to talk about the company that did it once we're done. I'm going to bring them on, and because it's coming along great. But I talked about that, not everything is damage on your roof. There's blistering, there's wear and tear. I mean, your car, you got 90,000 miles on it. There's going to be some marks that's non-insurable. There's going to be stuff that's just wear and tear and maintenance. And if you don't know what they're pointing at, because a lot of people will get on a roof and start circling, just circle chalk. That's crayon chalk, or sidewalk crayon chalk. Notice circle, because it's easy to see wind. Shingles are missing. Shingles are flipped over. Shingles are gone. On the ground in front of your house. Big shout out to John Cubits this week. I'm sorry. Mr. John, I had to go out there and take care of him. He had a shingle blow off. We got him taken care of. So I'll give them and all down there at Granddad's a big shout out down there in Manchester, Tennessee. But nevertheless, that if I come to your job and you start pointing stuff to me saying this, and this, and this is, needs attention. If I don't know what you do and don't do it for a living, I don't know what you're pointing at. That's the same as any qualified roofing professional knows exactly what it is, can show you, will give you pictures of it, detailed, and a lot do. The good ones do. We do at RTM Roofing. But if you don't really know what hell is, how do you know what's on that picture? And I'll say from us too. Not just from everybody else. I'm not saying I know what we show you. I know what we know. But how do you know that? All right. Do some questions. Get a list. Where have you done work? Are you in state? Are you insured? Do you have a contract? And X, Y, and Z. Cover yourself. Because a lot of contracts, if you sign anything, you got to read there's contingencies and da-da-da. You got 3 days right of rescission. Well, sometimes it's not a contract. It's a, hey, and by the way, I don't blame them. If I'm going to come here and meet with an adjuster, if you do actually have storm damage, and meet with the adjuster and spend all this time, I want the work. It's like a claims assistance agreement. We don't do them, but nevertheless, I've done them at previous companies, and they work because that's the agreement. I'm going to spend all this time for nothing, so to speak, if you just drop the ball, if all goes well, if I'm correct, this is damage. The insurance comes out, meet with them, talk with them, make sure they're paying you what they're supposed to be paying you. Not that it's intentional at times, that all's good. Yeah, that they're paying X. Yeah, that's exactly, they're paying. You're covering every line item. Great, boom, I should get the work. Because we've earned our relationship. We've earned our time. We both know each other now very well, I promise you. Because insurance isn't as easy as the old days. There are things that you've got to make sure A and B and C and D are there. And if you don't have damage, well, you just have a claim. And it's not the end of the world. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's a claim on your record. We get it. It's a speeding ticket. It's there for 3 years or whatever it is. But it's the whole hassle of it if you really don't have damage. And the one thing at RTM Roofing I am very proud of is that I've always said, I'm going to tell you what I would do if I lived there. You can file a claim every day of the week. All agents just freaked out right now, but insurance agents. But they're going to drop you. And you don't have to have damage. File a claim, but that's crazy. Well, it's not crazy. It's just illogical. But if you do file a claim, you at least want it more than your deductible, like times 2, times 3, times 4. Because if you got most people have like a $1,500 or $2,000 deductible now. Well, if you've only got $1,200 worth of damage, you're going to file a claim, legitimate damage, and you're going to file a claim, and they're not paying for the whole roof. They're going to pay for that spot, and they go, yep, that's $1,200 worth up. You got a $2,000 deductible. It's a wash, and you got the claim anyway. So, yeah, call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com for all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, and skylight twos, repairs and replacements, and 15% off for all first responders, Gold Star families, military, active or not, or retired, or active or not, and anyone over 62. That's 15% off. Everyone else, you get 10% off retail. We show you retail, 10% off, or what our retail is anyway. Thanks to the Lindenwood Lines. Thanks, Sarin. I know she's going to listen to this. She's going to come to YouTube. A standard conversation. Check it out. We'll come next week. It might be here. My voice might be gone by now. I don't know. But I know this. We'll be here. Someone else might be too with me. Welcome to RTM Roofing Commercial Division. Not only do we do replacements, we also do commercial repairs. Budgeting for you. And when times like this happen and you need to stop the water, you can't just change a panel. You roll over it. With RTM and Everest Roofing Systems. Their products are beyond any that I've ever worked with. And at RTM Roofing, we only use the best. And it doesn't cost as much as the rest. Call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751.